Hello. Is the audio fine? You've never seen gameplay of Metroid Prime before? That's pretty surprising, actually, because this game is pretty famous. Only extremely corrupted gameplay. What do you mean by corrupted? Oh, you mean like through Vinesauce, like Vinesauce corruptions? I wonder if you can hear the GameCube throwing a fit right now. It's okay, because the of course, being an old disc-based console, every time it loads something, it goes. This game is really good at blue-balling you. Because like, I don't really know of any other games that do this. Even like other games in the Metroid series. Make your mic a little louder. Okay. Let me just. Okay, how is it now? Okay. But, like, this game, it starts you off with a bunch of abilities. I literally can't make the mic any louder. Actually, wait, I think I can? Hold on, let me mess... I have to, like, physically turn up the gain dial on the microphone. Okay, how's that? I worry about the game audio being too loud because this, what am I using to, what microphone am I using? I'm using a Blue Yeti, which I know is the cheap normie microphone, but, yeah, it was on sale like 6 years ago, so, at Best Buy. Oh, software. I'm using OBS, which again is the basic bitch streaming software. But it's simple and it works. I have the microphone slider turned all the way up in OBS, so. How's the bitrate too? I was having some bitrate issues, like streaming software. OBS. I'm using OBS to stream. I'm not OBS is standard. Okay, well that's good. I've heard of like other programs people use, but also if you play Smash Bros a lot, you should be very familiar with this boss. Okay, I was having bitrate issues earlier, so I'm glad that it's good now. I kept having to futz with the bitrate, because sometimes it would just randomly drop, like go way down, and then drop a shit ton of frames. I don't like when it does that. I mean, the room in this stupid-ass apartment that I have to stream from literally doesn't have an Ethernet port, like, in the room, even. So I have to use Wi-Fi, which makes me a bit hesitant to stream, but yeah, you know the vibes. If there's one criticism that I have of all of the games in this series, it is that you turn too slowly. Like, you turn around too slowly. And there's no way to like, make you turn faster in the options or anything. You don't have any support. I guess I was, just, you know, pampered. I feel it's very bougie at college. We had that nice Miami Ethernet. This part of the game used to scare the shit out of me when I was a kid, even though they give you 8 goddamn minutes to escape from this ship, which is more than enough even if you, like, fool around and like take your sweet time. Trailed all the way from Router in your mom's... Okay, well, I haven't done that. I've just decided to put up with Wi-Fi. How young are we talking about? Okay, so the version of this game is the version that came out in 2004, but I didn't really play it until, like, I remember first playing this game when I was in first grade, so I would have been 6. So yes, this part used to scare the shit out of me when I was 6 years old. Which I think is the age where you're scared of just about everything. I can't believe I beat this game when I was like 7. I'm sometimes astounded by how much of an epic gamer I was. Oh, hey, Ridley. We won't see him again until 95% of the way through this game. So this is what I mean by when I say that this game is really good at blue-balling you. So you can use the grapple beam here, this like one area in the tutorial, and then you don't actually get it in the game. Like after you lose your upgrades, you don't get it until like 75% of the way through the game. It's really, really weird that they have you use it then. Okay, check this bullshit out. This is how you lose all your equipment in this game. You get hit, you get thrown against a wall by an explosion, and that is what causes you to lose all your upgrades. And I mean all your upgrades. You literally don't... You are not able... After that, Samus has everything at the beginning, then loses everything. No, this was the first... This was the first game that did that. This was actually the first Metroid game that did that. In the other games, you just... In the games before this, you just started off without anything, with no explanation. Like from Metroid 2 to Super Metroid, you just had everything at the end of Metroid 2, and then in Super Metroid, Samus just doesn't have them. But that's not how it is in this game, and this game specifically, and then every other game in the series had to do it for some reason. Weird to do a tutorial for using the ability and just take them all away. That's what I was saying with the grapple beam. They tell, especially the grapple beam, because like, you know, the other stuff they teach you how to use, like the morph ball and missiles and all that stuff, you get that pretty quickly. Like after you get to the planet, you get that stuff back pretty quickly. And then, but like the grapple beam, you don't get that back until literally the last main area of the game, when you're like 75 to 80% of the way done. Oh, I can skip this. Sorry, okay. Yes, I would like to save. This is one of those old-timey games where if you die, you go back to the last time you saved. Later today, when I stream, I'll be finishing Live a Live. Took you like 3 play sessions to finish that game, Jesus. This always impressed me when I was a kid. If you look up here, the raindrops like hit against the visor. For 15 hours. Jesus! Like, that would make me like ill. If I played the same game for 15 hours. I have just accepted that, like, I just can't play video games as long as most people can because of the migraines. Like, if I sit still for too long, I just get a horrible migraine. It took 8 hours to do the Untitled Japan chapter. I mean, yeah, it's a JRPG. Of course it's going to be long. Like, even... Because I know it's like a SNES game, but even SNES games could be pretty long. Like, Final Fantasy VI, that's a long-ass game. That's a SNES game. This is not the right way. Never mind, this is the right way. Receiving. Coping, even. Malding. Literally playing in total silence. Why not just, like, quit and come back? Chapter is 2 hours on average. See, I haven't played Live a Live in a really long time, so I don't really remember how long each chapter takes. And plus, you're playing the remake, so they might have, like, added stuff that I didn't know about. I love mashing because I have no charge beam or missiles. You decided I wanted to do the 0 kills path. You fool! You utter fool. That is something that you only do on, like, your 3rd or 4th playthrough when you really want to give yourself a hard time. Live a Live is not Undertale. It is not easy to spare everyone. See, this is what I mean, it's more blue balling, because these things take only 1 missile to kill. But until you get the missile launcher, you have to, like, mash the power beam out, because this thing is weak as hell. Oh yeah, more blue balling. Look at this door. It's a missile door. There's no way to know until the very... That's why you're... It's like a thing you do on your 3rd or 4th playthrough. They don't expect you to do it on your 1st playthrough. That's why that's the way it is. And I was overriding my saves. I mean, that's... Again, that's not... Games don't really expect you to cycle to stagger out your save files. So, again, I'm just saying, it's really not something the game expects you to do on your 1st playthrough. Also, look at this. This mirror actually reflects a very, very low resolution Samus reflection. Why am I scanning things? I've played this game like 9 or 10 times through all the way. I don't need to scan things anymore. Guess what? Chicken butt. That's what I'm guessing. Hey, check it out. We're getting to our quote-unquote... Getting to the first quote-unquote boss in this game. I don't count this as a real boss. It doesn't have a health bar. If it doesn't have a health bar, it's not a real boss. It's a mini-boss. From the story, I thought getting the prisoner away required... Why do you do this? Why did you do this to yourself? That is not required. The only thing required of you is to finish the game any way you want. You don't have to do the pacifist way unless you're a madman. such a weird boss. Like, what is the point of this machine? It has angry war wasps inside of it. Like, what did the Chozo use this machine for? Again, this is your own fault. You are the one who decided to do the no kills. It's intentionally meant to be that way. It's meant to be weird and like obtuse because it's supposed to be like a secret path. You were committed. Yeah, committed to a mental asylum. It's like the pacifist run in frickin' EG. It's a secret. You're not meant to know that you can even beat the game without killing anyone. If you ever do end up playing EG, which is a indie game from the mid-2000s, which is really good, I do not recommend doing the pacifist route. Because using the weapons in that game is fun as hell. Yay, missiles. See, I get why they would give you a tutorial for missiles. Because you get them back in like 15 minutes. See, look. You get this energy tank. It's basically impossible to miss. I've seen people do, like, lowest possible item speedruns of this game. Like, you get the least amount of items you can while still beating the game. And seeing people intentionally walk around that energy tank is, like, painful, because it's just right there. The little beginning, the guy tells you can do it sneakily or go on a killing spree, whichever you prefer. Yeah, well, fighting is easy. It's like way easier to just fight everyone than to avoid them, and fighting is fun, so... In a game like Live a Live, which has a fun combat system, like, you know, I'll stick around and do the fight because it's fun. I want to pay my respects to, like, the good fight design. Missile expansion. Are you sure you can't hear the GameCube reading stuff off the disc? Because it is really loud. I mean, I do have noise suppression turned on for this mic, so that's probably it. Stealth is usually more difficult. I want to do stealth, so it'd probably be only suited if I do it. Fair. That is fair. You get missiles, you can finally destroy those bum-ass war wasp nests. Fuck out of here. Oh, God. Okay, might as well save. I am playing on hard mode, after all, but this game is... One, I've beaten this game almost a dozen times, and two, so like, you know, it's not really that difficult for me anymore. Two, if I do end up dying, you go back to the last time you saved, which sucks. The lives taken thing popped up. Oh yeah, I mean, that's why that is the way it is. Prehistory is the best chapter of Live a Live because it's the most creative. I don't know if that's like a normie opinion, because I've heard like a bunch of other people say it, but maybe it's just the like majority opinion because it's correct. I don't know. Prehistory and this future, yeah, that's generally like the pretty common consensus. People like that little Kirby-looking robot. His name is Q, but he's a sphere. That's the joke. Again, more blue balling. It shows you the morph ball right there, and then it's like, oh, well, joke's on you, you gotta fight this mini boss supportive enemies, whatever. Missiles glow. I wonder why it even bothers giving you that little notification when it's like obvious. Story is, it is, but the people on the internet also have an unhealthy obsession with Kirby, so I mean, I'll be honest, I never got the whole Kirby obsession. Like I just don't like Kirby all that much. It's because I'm an edgelord. I'm an edgelord. I like Evangelion and Berserk. The remake made it a lot better. Did it? I haven't played the remake, so characters are much more animated. That is probably true. Oh my god, this boss fight is so long on hard mode. Again, not really a boss fight, more of a mini-boss. Just unga bunga, no dialogue. Have you played, I mean you probably have. Have you played Chrono Trigger? It was always kind of like sussy to me that they would do Chrono Trigger, which has like a bunch of different time periods, and also Live a Live, which is a bunch of different time periods. I mean, obviously the time periods aren't the same between both games, but, you know. Here's some more blue balling. You can... This is like obviously the right size for Morph Ball, but you can't go inside it until you have Morph Ball bombs, which you get later. Oh yeah, the real music for this area starts after you get the Morph Ball for some reason. This game's soundtrack is great. That was my biggest disappointment with Dread. The music in Dread is just not very memorable. It's not, like, horrible. Like, getting laid and he's nutting type beat. I mean, I guess. Yeah, I mean... Yeah. That's getting laid and he's nutting type beat. That's... From voice acting. Oh right, there is voice acting in the remake. I bet that changes a lot. You know, they added voice acting into the Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne remaster, and I turned it off. Like, not that the voice acting was bad, it was pretty good actually, but I feel like Nocturne is just better in silence. It's like a weird way to feel about it, I think, but that's the way I feel about it. I feel like Nocturne is better in silence. The dub is good. I mean, when was the last time you heard like an actually bad dub for a Japanese video, for like a moderate to big budget Japanese video game? I feel like that doesn't really happen anymore. And don't say Xenoblade 2, that game's voice acting is good, you guys are just mean. I mean, yeah, I'm sure there are... I went the wrong way, goddammit. I'm sure there are genuinely bad English, like, voice-acted games these days, but they're probably, like, small budget, not really prominent games. I mean, holy shit, like... The glow-up of Fire Emblem English voice acting from Path of Radiance is insane. Testing any of the settings of Chrono Trigger. Wait, which one came out first? I thought they came out, like, pretty much at the same time. Because both of those games came out in 1995, right? Like, which one was in, whatever. They probably weren't copying off each other either way, if like one was accused of copying off the other. Live remake. God, this year is really is pretty stacked, isn't it, for like good games? Chrono Trigger was SNES, yes, and so was Live A Live. Yes, both of them came out in 1995. Chrono Trigger was SNES, and it also had a PlayStation 1 port, which was not very good. But that's... No, Live A Live was not Famicom. It was also Super Famicom. No. They were both on the same console. It was not a Famicom game, it was a Super Famicom game, it was 16-bit. Probably started first. I mean, maybe. It's kind of hard to tell. Those older Square Enix games don't really have very good documentation about their development cycles. I say Square Enix, even though Square Enix was not called Square Enix back then. Squaresoft. Because Enix had not bought them yet. I find that really funny. That even though Enix was the one who bought Square in 2002, they call themselves Square Enix, like they put the Square name first. I find that really odd, even though Enix was the one who bought Square. Where am I going again? Not here. I will not need to go there until much later. Right, this is the right way. This is the way. That with Chrono Trigger. I don't know, if they came out in the same year, then I would think that they would have simultaneous development. like with 2 different teams, because I know that Chrono Trigger had like Hironobu Sakaguchi and Yoshinori Kitase, like all the Final Fantasy guys. But I don't know about Live A Live. I don't really know much about its development. I definitely just went the wrong way. How long did development take? I mean, that's a big question. A lot of those old games did not document their development very well. The type of development hell that a lot of games go through these days just kind of didn't exist back then, because games were comparatively much easier to make and required much smaller teams and smaller budgets. Like, it is insane that in the 1990s, there would be 3 Final Fantasy games for each console, 3 console generations in a row. Like, that is just, like, can you freaking imagine? That's the wrong way again. These days you get one Final Fantasy per console generation, like a main series Final Fantasy game. You found this. Chrono Trigger development began in 1992. Really? Okay, that's earlier than I thought. Yay, more missiles. Okay, this is the room where I always miss that one sigil. I know there's one under these boxes. Year and a half before that. Okay, so it was like Live A Live did like start planning a little earlier. Around the same for both. Yeah, it's true. I mean, it is entirely possible that both games having like a multiple time period theme is just a complete coincidence. Time travel was still popular back then because of like Back to the Future. Oh, come on. Time travel is a bad rap now because it's so easy to do wrong. But I think, I mean, a lot of people will just automatically assume something is bad because it's about time travel, which I feel isn't really fair. I mean, there are obviously like terribly written things that involve time travel, but as a concept, it's not like enough to instantly say that something is bad because it has time travel in it. Like, man, remember when Dragon Ball had time travel in it? Twice? And split teams off to do both ideas. That's possible. I know that around that time there were many titles at Square Enix that started as one thing and then ended up as a completely different thing, so... Like how Xenogears was supposed to be Final Fantasy VII, but they were like, this game is too whack and complicated to be Final Fantasy VII, so it's going to be something different now. It is very sad that we will never probably get the true Xenogears remake / remaster that we deserve. The thing about Chrono Trigger is that it always surprises me when I go back and replay it how short that game is. A full playthrough, like just getting the normal ending, it's like 12 hours. It is very short. But yeah, we will never get the Xenogears remake / remaster that we deserve, because Tetsuya Takahashi left Square Enix in not so great terms. And Square Enix still owns Xenogears, because they were the ones who published it. And there is no way that they would ever do anything related to Xenogears without Tetsuya Takahashi's approval, because it's like his baby. So it is likely that that Xenogears will just never ever get a remaster or remake. Because even though Takahashi created it, everyone who worked on that game is no longer associated with Square Enix. Not the normal version. Explain. Explain what you mean by not the normal version. Chrono Trigger Plus. What is that? Is it like a mod or something? I mean, I admittedly, I haven't played the original Super Nintendo Chrono Trigger. I grew up playing the DS version. But, you know, the DS version is, I wouldn't exactly call it an abnormal version. It just has it's just been retranslated and has a little bit of extra content. And slightly worse music, but that doesn't really matter. It's funny that they call this a creature. Chrono Trigger Plus. I wonder what that entails. The scan? What if there was Chrono Trigger Minus? Like a mod that actively just makes the game worse. Ton of cut content back into the game, fixes some bugs, and offers options to remove the linearity from the game. What's wrong with linearity? 1999 is fully explorable and offers lots of stuff to do. More Easter eggs and quality of life improvements. Okay, so it's like the Brave New World hack for Final Fantasy VI that became really famous. I don't get the whole removing linearity thing, though. That really wasn't much of a problem. Like, do people complain that Chrono Trigger is too linear? Because I never really felt that it was that linear. I mean, linear enough to, like, you know, be a detriment to the overall experience. You know, it's not Final Fantasy X or, like, Metroid Fusion. Didn't really remove much linearity. Okay, it's weird that they would, like, talk big about it in the description of the game and then not do much with it. Because, yeah, I've never really heard anyone complain about Chrono Trigger being too linear. It has a pretty expansive, like, post-game. I watched it a long time ago. Okay, well. I'll have to give it a look myself. Because those kind of, like, extra content overhaul mods can sometimes be really overkill in how they change things in from the base game. Like, no hate to the people who made it, but the new threat mod for Final Fantasy VII, it's like a completely different game, and I don't really like a lot of changes that were made to it to try and, like, is he preferred to? Yeah, I guess. It bothers me a bit, though, that when he played Final Fantasy IX, he played, like, the unmodded PC version, which is really not that great. With the really blurry-ass backgrounds and, like, weird aspect ratio and stuff. It's very easy to mod that game, and there's like a bunch of great visual mods for the not-so-great looking PC port. Square Enix needs to step up their port game, honestly. The Chrono Trigger PC port was formerly a disaster, but it has in fact been fixed, so... It was one of those stupid-ass things where they just directly port the mobile phone version to PC without changing anything. Which, don't do that. I don't live live remake. Okay, I mean, it's $40. I'll probably wait until it goes on sale or something. Because I'm not itching that hard to play it right now. Also, I feel like it got really overshadowed by Xenoblade 3, which is like the biggest JRPG of the year if you don't count Elden Ring as a JRPG, which I don't. It's more of an action game. It's $50. Yeah, I saw that it was reduced price. It's like not a full price title, which is fair. I think it is fair to sell that game at a lower price. Because it is, after all, basically a SNES game with improved visuals and some slight quality of life. Check this out. Alright, so you're not supposed to be able to get this missile expansion until... Okay, hold on, I actually need to listen so I can get a timing right on this. Come on. Ugh. So it's a really... There we go. Okay. You're not supposed to be able to get that missile expansion until you have the space jump, but you can get it by double bomb jumping. An HD 2D remake of Chrono Trigger. I mean, sure. I don't feel like Chrono Trigger really needs a remake. It's basically as playable as a modern game, despite being a SNES title. It's like people saying that like Final Fantasy X needs a remake. Like, no, it doesn't. It's a PS2 game. It doesn't need a remake. Is Chrono Trigger like the port, the like PC version, the quote unquote enhanced version? Isn't that on the eShop, or is it just on PC? I want really bad to make it so more people get to experience the game. I mean, sure. I don't know. Maybe I see this in a more critical eye, but I feel like a lot of games get remade that really do not need a remake. Like that frickin' Last of Us remake. I can't believe they're remaking Last of Us 1. That game is about as modern as a video game gets, and they felt that it needed a remake. 2 generations later. Many people don't know it exists. I doubt that. This might just be, like, the fact that I am an RPG guy who, like, frequents RPG spaces. But I'm pretty sure if you asked someone to name one RPG on the SNES, they'd probably say Chrono Trigger first. Younger people. Yeah, well, fuck them kids. Younger people. The younger people, they don't care about the RPGs, they care about the Fortnites. And the PUBGs, and the Genshin Impacts. Imagine trying to get an 8-year-old to play, like, Mother 1. One of the best JRPGs. That is debatable. That is heavily debatable. That Chrono Trigger is one of the best JRPGs. It is a good game, but I would not say that it is within, like, my top 10, or even, like, top 20 JRPGs. That's just me, though. I'm a gameplay guy, and Chrono Trigger, its gameplay is very simple. You know, not that simple gameplay is a bad thing, obviously, but for you it is, and that is fine. I know there are plenty of people out there who think that because I don't know a million JRPGs like you. Well, that is also true. Where's that last symbol? I always forget where the bottom left one is. I mean, I don't know a million JRPGs. It's more like, you know, 110,000. I forget that when you leave the room, you have to reactivate the symbols, because I already activated that one before. I mean, obviously Chrono Trigger is not, like, a bad or mediocre game. I am not implying that. I feel like when I say that I think Chrono Trigger is not one of the best JRPGs ever made, people assume that I think it's bad. I do not think Chrono Trigger is bad. In fact, I think it's a great game. Just in my opinion, it's not, like, way up there. I've never watched or played a Xenoblade game. Most people haven't. Remember, your social circle includes 2 people who are Xenoblade mega fans, so you probably hear about it more often than normal people do. I watched a bit of Xenoblade 1, but stopped because I said that I should just play it myself. That's a big commitment. It is a big commitment. If you honestly don't feel like playing it and just would rather watch a playthrough, I will not stop you. I cannot stop you, obviously. but it's an experience, so... 3. Just the number 3? Number 3, is that it? 3? Or are you, like, asking my opinion about it? A close friend from home that loves Xenoblade as well. We're multiplying. The disease is spreading. Okay, here's the first real boss in this game, by the way. This boss gave me so much shit as a kid because I was too stupid to figure out how this boss fight actually works. Object out of scanning range. Now, that's just a lie, you know it. Okay. So the way this boss works is weird as hell. Gotta stun it, and then knock up these mirrors. And then when it falls over, it'll retract the tentacles, and then you have to bomb the inside of its, like, base to actually deal damage to it. Also, the music in this boss fight is broken. It does not loop correctly. It plays the same roughly 20-second loop, despite the fact that the actual track is over a minute long. This is one creepy motherfucker. When I was a kid, I thought that just, like, shooting it would harm it, because I was a stupid kid and didn't know how this fight works. So I would just shoot it over and over again, and it would get stunned. And I was like, yeah, I'm dealing damage. When I wasn't. It's flawussy. Please don't say that. We got a bomb. It's flawussy. I'm sure you can hear the incredibly repetitive, broken music track drilling into your brain at this point, because it's literally not programmed correctly. It's never, to my knowledge, it was also never fixed in any of this game's numerous re-releases. So you just have to deal with the broken music. What is that? I've never seen that attack before. I guess doesn't use it very often. See, it worked. It did. I put the bomb in the flawussy, and you're not paying too much attention to the music. Good, because the music in this fight is, like I've said before, literally broken. It does not function correctly. It only plays the intro. There's like an entire bridge and like second main verse that just doesn't play. You just hear the intro to the song over and over again. Oh my god, okay. Because the slot is on the other side, I think I might miss the chance to bomb. Nope, okay. New Mario Kart Dlc came out today. I'll be honest, I have never cared that much about Mario Kart. I know it's... Isn't Mario Kart 8 Deluxe literally the best-selling game on Switch? Which is just astonishing to me, that it's It's a port. It's an enhanced port, and it's the best-selling game on the console. Waluigi Pinball's in the game now. See, I did not grow up playing Mario Kart DS, so I have no emotional attachment to Waluigi Pinball whatsoever. The only Mario Kart game that I played growing up was Mario Kart 64. And even then, I really didn't play it all that much. Performs much better than the original. Does it? I mean, Nintendo was pretty good at optimizing their games for the Wii U, even though it was a pretty weak console. So I don't feel like Mario Kart 8 on Wii U would have performed all that badly. I mean, in terms of, like, frame rate and load times and stuff. It is a miracle that Mario Kart 8 looked as good as it did on Wii U and still managed to be 60 frames per second without, like, constant frame drops. Because that was a weak console. I find it to feel smoother. That might be true. There might have been, like, stutters in the original Wii U version that are not in the Switch version, but I wouldn't know. Can you even hurt these things with the power? No, you can't, right? You can't hurt them unless you have the wave beams. Just go walk past them. Mario Kart is fun to play here and there. Yeah, that's true. I find it's really a multiplayer experience. I know it has single-player content, but I have never found it to be all that attractive. It's basically just get a high score on the Grand Prix to get trophies. DS Bowser's Castle and DS Rainbow Road. Is 64 Rainbow Road in Mario Kart 8? Because that is the longest track in the series, and I actually do... The only Mario Kart game I have nostalgia for is Mario Kart 64. So I actually have nostalgia for, like, Mario Kart 64, Rainbow Road, and, like, Toad's Turnpike and Wario Stadium and all that stuff. Pretty sure. I mean, at this point, Mario Kart 8 has so many tracks. They modified it to be one lap. What a bunch of wusses. Back in my day, we played 3 whole laps of Rainbow Road 64, uphill both ways in the snow, and we enjoyed it. Where different parts on the map increase the lap. I'm not quite sure what that means. You mean like they made the map longer? To, like, make the singular lap longer than just one lap of the N64 version? Oh, God. I do not remember Magmore Caverns having this many Shriek Bats. As in checkpoints. Okay. Here's a fun fact. There are only 3 of this enemy in the entire game. I'm killing an endangered species. But it still says 3 laps. Oh, okay, so... Like, when you pass one of the checkpoints, it says, like, lap complete? Okay, that's weird. For the course, okay, that's what I thought. I wonder why. I don't really see any specific gameplay benefit to doing that. What was big thing? No, not that! Stop scanning the... Goes lap 2 and 3, okay. Magmore. So the thing about these giant lava dragons is that you can literally walk past them since they don't move. I just want to scan the puffers, goddammit. Don't ask you. Well, then I won't. I always thought it was weird how the light inside the morph ball changes from yellow to blue when you get the morph ball bombs. Like, you spend so little time having the morph ball without the bombs that it's kind of hard to notice. Unless you've played through this game as many times as I have, because I am a twisted individual. I've kept it normal and had these Zoomers have to drive that 3 laps. Yes. Because we hate young people, and they have to suffer for liking Fortnite, and normalizing the concept of a battle pass being in every goddamn video game these days. I hate that the Fortnite battle passes are so lucrative because it is seriously one of the most predatory monetization schemes to ever exist. With the battle pass monetize, like, reward setup, you pay a bunch of money for the possibility of rewards. So it's like a super microtransaction where you don't actually get the reward immediately from when you spend money. You have to spend money and then play the game, like, play the game a whole bunch and win a whole bunch of matches to get the rewards that you paid for, which is just insane to me. Because you only start getting Battle Pass EXP when you, like, after you pay for it. I think that's just insane. Save your child by exposing them to good JRPGs early on and getting them into cultured and based video game genres. I wouldn't exactly call JRPGs cultured and based. There's a lot of creepy pervert JRPGs out there that I absolutely hate. But, you know, semantics. Like, there's a reason why the Hyperdimension Neptunia series has so many sequels. It's because lonely Japanese perverts buy titty JRPGs instead of just looking up porn on the internet. Those games suck, by the way. The only reason people buy them is for the waifus. They're, like, absolutely horrible. That's why you choose the good ones and not ones that include lots of that. That is true. Oh, you play Hyperdimension Neptunia? Well, this is a Final Fantasy only household. Final Fantasy has trace amounts of fan service here and there, but it's never disgusting like it is in those games. It's also very in those, like, mobile JRPGs. Like, I stopped playing Fate Grand Order about 1.5 years ago, and the designs just keep getting, like, creepier and creepier. At this point, they might as well just, like, make every character a naked underage girl. Because that is just what seems to be making the most money, which is just disgusting. I will never get the whole lolicon thing. And I probably shouldn't discuss it too much or else YouTube is going to erase my channel from history. Because even if you condemn something, even if you say it's bad, this website is terrible and will destroy you just for talking about it. And making money is important. That is true. But it is also sad that it is true. That horny selling so much. I mean, I know that's probably why some of the character designs in Xenoblade 2 are the way they are, and I'm glad that Xenoblade 3 is not like that, because I have gotten really, really tired of people complaining about, like, character design discourse about Xenoblade 2. Horny will always sell. Yes, it will. That is completely true, and it will be true until the end of time. I mean, people were making thick goddess idols and worshipping them 5,000 years ago, so you're appealing to a primal instinct that everyone has. Yes. That's why food sells. When you sell people food, they will pay for it and eat it. Okay. So this thing right here. You know the Pokemon Bergmite? Tell me that it was not inspired by this thing. It's literally called a Crystallite. It like almost has the same name. You cannot tell me that the Pokemon Bergmite was not inspired by this little Scrimblow right here. Don't include things like really desiring a good strategy RPG. Wrong. And now I have killed it. I'm committing manslaughter. Or Scrimblow slaughter, I guess. Alright, I have to open this gate. Oh yeah. Did you watch the Pokemon Direct about the new Pokemon Purple and Red or whatever? I didn't. I feel like my time with Pokemon might just be over at this point. And I hate to say that because I loved Pokemon so dearly as a kid. This always impressed me that like the closer you get to these things, like the visor becomes all messed up. And I'm not, I know there are a lot of people out there who are like, Pokemon sucks now, and I only play real monster catching games like Shin Megami Tensei. I don't want to be like that, but I just feel like my time with Pokemon is over. You see these blue things right here? Fuck these things. I'm not even gonna fight them. Yeah, I'm glad that the consensus on Legends Arceus seems to be that they actually tried for that one. Because for a while it seemed like they were just not really trying anymore. Especially with the Diamond Pearl remakes. Oh, new viewer, hello. Pokemon games are actually getting worse, though. That is subjective, and I have not played them, so I cannot say either way. I have not played a new Pokemon game since Sun and Moon, which was 5 years ago. The best game they've made in years. That's good to hear. Remember Little Town Story? When they were like, Game Freak is making a traditional JRPG. And then it came out and got like 6 out of 10s across the board and no one ever talked about it ever again, ever. That was fun. Oh my god, I hate these things. It did change this account name, like, a lot. Okay. If you are somebody I know, then I am sorry for calling you a new viewer, because I do not recognize this account name. This game is gonna be toxic. Yeah, that is also true. I do remember around the time that Legends Arceus was being revealed that the visuals and performance and stuff were really not looking very good in the trailers. So I don't blame anyone for thinking that the game might be bad based on those trailers, because I remember thinking back then, like, wow, this game looks kind of bad, but it got really good reviews and fans generally seem to enjoy it, so I'm glad that is a thing. Even if I personally don't really play Pokemon anymore. Pokemon will almost always be bad in public opinion, that is true. The series' reputation has been irreparably damaged by Sword and Shield and Pokemon Unite. I fully agree with that. Where it has such a nostalgia goggle series, that is also true. Yeah, that is true. Like, I feel... Yeah, it's like, I feel like everyone's favorite Pokemon game is the one that came out... not specifically the first one they played, but it was one of the ones that came out when they were between the ages of, like, 6 and 15. Okay, I'm basically being forced to fight this damn thing. Oh, okay. If I can take an opportunity to run past Baby Sheegoths, then I will, because they're annoying and have a ton of health. They're annoying, very strong, and very, very bulky. Is this where you see Ridley? Yes, it is. Yeah. Yeah, that is true about the graphics. That Pokemon always had kind of bad graphics, but I think... I feel like people didn't really notice until Sword and Shield, like, because it was an HD console game and not a handheld game. Because handheld games are always expected to have lower fidelity graphics. But, like, it is true that even compared to, like, other games on the DS and 3DS, the Pokemon games at that time did not look all that great. I feel like Black and White 2 is probably the peak of Pokemon graphics. Like, just in terms of... in comparison to the system it was on. Because obviously in terms of, like, pure fidelity, Sword and Shield are objectively, like, higher fidelity games, but in terms of in relation to the game that is being... the system it is being compared against, I feel like Black and White 2 was kind of the peak. Black and White 2 was the peak in many ways. Nowadays, every single game must be full 4K, full amazing graphics, and 600 FPS. Yes, I know that to be true because I am a Xenoblade fan. And every Xenoblade game on the Nintendo Switch is 720p and locked at 30 FPS. And people... I say people, but I really should be saying idiots, complain very frequently that it is 720p and locked to 30 FPS, when it is not an actual problem. Even being one of the highest selling franchises Nintendo has, yes. Although, you know, I'm not going to say that graphics don't matter at all, ever, because they do, but the presentation, I feel like it's more of an issue of presentation than it is of pure graphical fidelity. Because I won't lie, some of those modern Pokemon games have some pretty bad looking presentation, and I'm not just talking about like polygon counts. I'm talking like cutscene animations and stuff. I remember seeing, and this was from a review, so I might be biased here because I saw it in a review and not when playing the game for myself, but there was a cutscene in Sword and Shield where a Pokemon is supposed to jump up and hit an elevator button, and instead of animating the Pokemon actually doing that, they cut the screen to black, play a sound effect, and then pretend that the Pokemon just hit the elevator button when it obviously didn't. They just cut to black and pretended that it did. Oh my god, I hate... Open the door. Like, that's not a graphics problem, that's a presentation problem. And there is a difference. Like, graphics and presentation, like, Fire Emblem Path of Radiance has good presentation, but not very good graphics. It is not a very impressive looking game, but it has good menus and good animations and good looking cutscenes and stuff. It's a well-presented game, even though its graphics are pretty subpar. Fire Emblem Three Houses, on the other hand, is a game with bad graphics and bad presentation, but that's a topic for another time. I love shitting on Three Houses so much. I don't think it's a bad game, but people get so angry at me when I criticize it. It's not perfect, folks. It's really not perfect. God, this part is so frustrating to do with the wonky camera. Second worst selling are black and white. Is that so? That is surprising. Because that was like... Huh. That is actually very surprising to me. I did not expect that to be the case at all. That Black and White 2 is the worst selling main series game. I mean, direct sequels generally don't sell as well as the original property, but still, that is really surprising because the DS was so huge. DS is still Nintendo's best-selling console, so it's pretty weird to me that would be the case. Scan. Two objectively best games of the Pokemon series are the #1 and 2 worst-selling series. Will always be fucked. Yeah, I mean, when you're that big, when your series is that big, the demographics are going to be kind of weird. Just like, isn't it literally the most profitable media franchise in history at this point? There's a missile expansion down here. Second only to Star Wars, right? Which is funny, because there's also been complaints that recent Star Wars things are bad. It's funny that like the top two biggest selling franchises ever both have similar problem. It said Black and White 2 are objectively bad games. Well, it's because they're not. It's pretty hard. It would be pretty hard to argue that they are. I mean, there's probably some rando contrarian out there who's like, actually they're bad games, but no one is ever going to take them seriously. And the anime being so big. Oh yeah, that is a thing, isn't it? Is the anime legitimately any good? Because I recall watching it as a child, but you genuinely have no critical thinking skills as a child on like how to critically assess media, so I have no idea if it was actually good or not. never been great in comparison? I don't know. They had to start somewhere, right? You enjoy it. Well, you heard it here, folks. Ishiki enjoys the Pokemon anime. It's nothing that's like objectively a critically amazing thing. Okay. Well, if it's like decent junk food, that still has merit, doesn't it? It's better than just being boring or bad, even if it's not like thought-provoking. No, I enjoy junk food anime from time to time. I like Yu-Gi-Oh! I like G Gundam. That is weekly done for the entire... That's true. I feel like that creates kind of a rushed production schedule, maybe. It's like One Piece. Like, I feel... That was the wrong tunnel. The Pokemon Journeys one. There's so many different names for the Pokemon anime and all its different seasons and story arcs. I don't think I'll ever be able to know which one is which. I mean, back then they just used to name it after the games, right? Because there was literally like Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, the show, and that's just what it was called. Really long adventure through a region. I mean, that's like, it's perfect for Metroid. It's perfect for Pokemon, isn't it? Because that's what the games are. A really long adventure through a region. So what was up with Ash Greninja? Do you know about that? Travel to a new region in every episode? Okay, no, that's clearly nostalgia bait right there. If they go back to old regions every episode. Yeah, if you're privy to what the deal with Ash Greninja was, please tell me, because I'm still confused by it. Whole long adventure is non-existent. So the structure is different? Would you consider JoJo's Bizarre Adventure a junk food anime? Or is that like a legacy series with enough critical acclaim that you can't really say that about it? No, right, I can't go any further. What am I doing here? Bullshit anime, real strong bond between trainer and Pokemon doing crazy weird stuff. So like Mega Evolution, but not. My parents are watching something on the TV very loudly in the other room, so I'm sorry if my microphone picks that up. Great slice of life anime in general. I heard that too. I heard that it had a very different structure, where instead of being like a journey, they're like at a school, right? I need to heal here. Man, remember like all the really bad Pokemon knockoffs in like the mid-2000s? I miss those. I genuinely do. There's a ride-in for Ashfield to compete against Mega Evolution at times. That's fair. I mean, they can't make him useless. If they made Ash useless, then how would they sell the toys? It's all about the kids. As much as weird adults like to argue against it, Pokemon is targeted at children, and it always will be. That is not a bad thing. It is merely a fact. like I've forgotten where I'm supposed to be going. Yes, you did tell me about the Drampa Pokédex entries and how they're apparently super spooky or something. My favorite Pokédex entry is Pokemon Sun Primeape. That is my favorite Pokédex entry. Because a Primeape becoming so angry that it dies is hilarious to me. Because I often feel that way too. I remember a lot of the Pokemon Sun and Moon Pokédex entries about Mega Evolution were like spooky. And saying that like, implying that the Pokemon that undergoes Mega Evolution is in like extreme pain when it undergoes... I am going the wrong way. I'm supposed to go back to Phendrana Drifts and get the Wave Beam. Drampa will protect kids when they're in danger so their moms don't have to worry. Oh, that's cute. Okay, I need to remember where I'm going. Okay, I need to get the Wave Beam. Drampa will find the bully's house and burn it to the ground. Yes, that is the one that I remember people talking about. Find the bully's house and burn it to the ground. There's a lot of weird stuff like that in Pokemon and Pokédex entries if you like look hard enough. Moon and Ultramoon entries first. Okay. Based Drampa. Basically, violence isn't the answer. Except when it is. Dragon Ball Z taught us all that violence is not always the answer, but sometimes it is. Like when you're fighting a 7-foot-tall green bug man who won't listen to you when you tell him to stop killing people. See, the thing about that infamous Drifloon Dex entry is that the most people don't remember the second half of it, which says that Drifloon is too weak to actually carry children away. So it just ends up getting played with like a real balloon, which is cute. I mean, it's like a grandpa dragon. That is the name. In that case, you probably need to use violence, yes, when you're fighting a 7-foot-tall green bug man. That whole arc is great. That's probably my favorite arc of Z. I don't know if it's my favorite arc of Dragon Ball in general, but Android/Cell arc is definitely my favorite arc of Z. I forgot where I'm going again. I have to go to Phendrana Drifts. Where's the... Okay, I already passed it. God damn it. Did you know that there are some freaks out there whose favorite arc of Z is the Majin Buu arc? Pretty insane, right? I mean, it's not like trash. I can't imagine being able to overlook its flaws enough to say that the Buu arc is better than like the Namek arc or King Piccolo or anything like that. Because despite no part of Dragon Ball being bad, except for Super, but I don't count that. Except for, you know, like No part of Dragon Ball is ever, like, bad, but I would say that the Buu arc is about as bad as it gets. But there is a very large contingent of people out there who feel very strongly that the Buu arc is somehow the best arc. Children holding them sometimes vanish. Okay. For some reason I remember one of the entries for it being like it drags them to the underworld or something. I'm like, well, that's dark. I think my parents are streaming something because my bitrate is going down. They're probably hogging up all the bandwidth. Oh god, I forgot about this. Did you like the Buu arc? Dislikes heavy children. Yeah, that's right, kids. Lose weight so Drifloon can drag you to the underworld a little easier. Drags them away to the afterlife just sounds like a euphemism for just straight up killing them. Is stuffed with souls and expands each time it leads someone away. Huh. It was my least favorite arc, but still good. Fair. What is your favorite arc? Oh. Where is the elevator that goes to Fedra? Okay, it's the wrong way. Let's go that way. I also have a thing for the tournament arcs in Dragon Ball. Like, I can't remember if it's the 22nd or 23rd, but the one where there's a time skip and adult Goku appears and fights Piccolo Jr. That is a really good arc. I also quite like the Saiyan arc, which comes right after that. It's probably the most brutal arc in the series, too. I don't remember how I felt fully when I watched them. That's the difference between me and a lot of Dragon Ball fans. I read the manga first, which is weird. That I read the manga first. Probably Cell or Frieza. Okay. That's probably what most people would say. But they're good arcs, so... For Z, okay. What is your favorite arc of Dragon Ball GT? I sometimes forget that there are things in Dragon Ball that even come after the end of Z, because I never bothered to watch GT or Super. So, like, I sometimes forget that Super Saiyan Blue and Jiren and all that shit even exists. None of it. If you have to choose a favorite, you have to. I am forcing you to tell me which arc of GT is your favorite. You hated the whole thing. Really? Most people say that, you know, like, the baby arc wasn't that bad. I think my Dragon Ball GT has a lot of good ideas, but they're executed so poorly because the production schedule for GT was just so fucked up. I can't even remember what the arcs were. Probably when he goes Super Saiyan 4. Okay, That's probably the only moment in GT that most people can unanimously agree is good. You hated Baby, really? Most people say that's the best arc of GT. I do really like the ending of GT, though. I will say I genuinely think the ending of GT is the best ending that the Dragon Ball series can have. Where Goku, like, disappears on the back of Shenlong. That is a really, actually very sad and emotional ending. It's not sad, but... because it's not, like, depressing, but, it, you know, it's emotional. Where they decide that the Dragon Balls have to go away because they just cause too much suffering, and Goku disappears and stuff. Alright, there's... I can blow this up. You hated Baby as a character and villain. I mean, he doesn't really have much character, does he? He's just better than fucking Super 17 and the Shadow Dragons. What I loved a lot was when you see the main characters be overpowered and stuff. Okay. That's like the opposite of what I like about Dragon Ball, but go off. If you like the main characters being overpowered, then you probably like Dragon Ball Super a lot. Har har. I don't. Like, from what I have seen and heard of Dragon Ball Super, it sounds like I would not enjoy it very much. So they always struggled against the next villain. Well, they have to. They can't just, like, they can't just clown on the next villain with no stakes. That would just destroy the stakes of the show. Narrative stakes exist for a reason. You know, that's why Goku wasn't allowed to beat Cell after he trained in the chamber for a year. Even though training for an entire goddamn year to beat Cell would probably be more than enough. It makes more sense for the story that he wouldn't be able to do it. It gives Gohan a reason to exist for once. In ways where they surprise someone. Okay, so you probably really liked the Saiyan arc then, when Goku shows up and frickin' ragdolls Nappa. Oh god! See to be OP and surprise people, okay. It's a good moment like that. Oh my god, there's so much fucking waiting in this boss fight. And Gohan surprises normal people when he's really strong. Okay. You love reactions. Oh, then you would love Dragon Ball Super. I swear to god. Half of what I've read of Dragon Ball Super's manga is characters reacting to things with a surprised expression. I think one of my biggest problems with Boo is that he kind of comes out of nowhere. Like, there was precedent for the Saiyans, there was precedent for Frieza, there was precedent for the androids in Cell. But in the Boo arc, there's a tournament, and then Kaioshin shows up, and he's just like, oh hey, these guys are trying to resurrect this demon, let's go fight him, gotta help us. And, like, that's just kind of it. Because I feel like an arc, like a shonen arc, can only be as good as it's a villain. And I hate to say it, but Boo is not a very interesting villain. Well, okay, Boo is an interesting villain at the start when he's fat and innocent and doesn't know what he's doing is wrong. And then he becomes a boring version of Perfect Cell after he absorbs Piccolo and Goten. There's Overlord. That's the one with the skeleton guy, right? After I beat this boss, I have to take a break because I really have to pee. I mean, I know a lot of people have said good things about Overlord, so I doubt that it's objectively bad. It's probably just not high art. It's just fun. Oh my god, this boss takes so long. Overlord slaps. Good to hear it. I may or may not watch it, because I am very bad about watching things that I say that I will end up watching, and I will just rewatch Neon Genesis Evangelion again. Because I am very predictable. So what is going on in the world? Like politics? Oh, mystery and development, okay. Yeah, that's one thing that I always kind of was disappointed in with Dragon Ball was the world building. There's really not much of it. My favorite big shonen anime is Naruto. Well, the manga of Naruto, because the anime is bogged down with so much filler that it's almost unwatchable. I don't count JoJo as shonen. It's too violent and also weird to be shonen. Although it was serialized in Shonen Jump, so it might count. Okay, I'm gonna take a break now because I have to pee. Okay, I'm back. Have any of you guys seen, Neon Genesis Evangelion? I don't know about you, but I like Neon Genesis Evangelion. Have either of you guys seen Naruto? It was like the only thing that mattered to me when I was 14. And anyone who says Naruto sucks is wrong. It's a good show. It has a good story. It is flawed. I will not deny that that Naruto is flawed. But it is still good. And I genuinely learned a lot of Japanese from it, which helped me in college. Okay, I can't do that until I have super missiles. Man. Remember Bleach? Can't believe I actually read most of Bleach. Haven't seen Evangelion or Naruto. Well, I recommend them. Especially Evangelion. I think every Marvel movie is the peak of cinema. Oh, you mean my dad? You know, I hate to be the guy who's like, Marvel movies are terrible, because they aren't. They're just not, you know, peak cinema or whatever. There are bad Marvel movies, and on the whole, I generally think they're getting worse. Like, the recent ones have really not been very good. The ones that I've seen, at least. I don't tend to go out of my way to watch Marvel movies all that often. But, the ones that my family coerced me into seeing, they generally seem to be getting worse overall. I mean, what is the best thing in cinema objectively? That doesn't really exist, does it? And I don't want to make anyone feel bad for being a Marvel fan. Because, again, they're not terrible. Some of them are, in fact, quite good. Definitely amazing movies that come out that get nowhere near as much attention. That has been true since before movies existed. Things that get butts in seats are generally not things that will make you rethink your life. That is just the truth. Things that get butts in seats are made for the lowest common denominator. Which, in general, you can say it's stupid people. I won't. But that's just the truth of media. There's a reason why Call of Duty, despite being pretty simple military shooters without much variance, sells so goddamn well. It's because they appeal to the lowest common denominator a lot. There is something to be said for being good at appealing to the lowest common denominator, because I, for the life of me, cannot do it. Or I cannot fathom what the lowest common denominator wants. Yeah, that's true. I feel like that is a problem, is that they're so popular that you can't escape them. I cannot escape Marvel, and I really wish that I could, because they just don't interest me all that much. I've never been an American superhero liker. Finds Call of Duty to be the best thing. Well, that just means that they need to expand their palette a little bit. No, I don't want to call anyone like a supervillain for thinking that Call of Duty games are good, because they are. That's the thing. Call of Duty games are not bad. They're in fact quite good, but they're very simple, and they do not aim very high. They aim to be very, very slight incremental improvements over the previous game instead of something that will make a huge impact or statement. Just like Marvel. Also, I don't really enjoy supporting studios and publishers that pull the kind of shit that Activision does to its employees. Because they are really, really bad to the people who work for them. Isn't it crazy that the people who make Warcraft and the people who make Call of Duty are part of the same company now? Isn't that, like, just mad? Summers on Black Ops 2 are some of the best times of my life as a kid. More power to you. Oh god, these things, that's right. Prepare to hear this annoying noise a lot. Because the best way to kill space pirates in this game is by stun-locking them with the wave beam. I never played Call of Duty as a child. My parents wouldn't let me, so... This game was about the most violent that it could get, that my parents would allow me to play. Are there any good game dev companies that aren't independent? Monolith Soft. They are known for treating their employees exceptionally well, having really good work culture. Also, from my own research, Square Enix is a great place to work. What just hit me? From my own research, Square Enix is a great place to work. They just make very stupid business decisions very frequently. So, I think the problem lies not with how big a company is, but how much it cares about exploiting its own workers as much as possible. How do you research this stuff? There are quite a lot of websites out there that are, there are, like, company reviews by former employees who, like, used to work there. And it's a good way to get, because, you know, there's no better way to know how good it is to work at a company than to hear it from someone who actually worked at that company. Glassdoor. Glassdoor is a great for that kind of thing. That's like the most popular one is Glassdoor. Suffer and never see your family since you're working a 70-hour week? Well, you're in the wrong industry then, brother. Well, you know. Because I need to get the horse testicle physics just right. Yes, we can all joke about the Rockstar Red Dead Redemption horse testicle physics, But the thing is, enforcing that level of detail on your programmers is legitimately what causes so many problems for workers. I mean, that's like half of why Cyberpunk 2077 was such a giant disaster, is because they wanted a game with a level of detail that had never been seen before, and they wanted it to be made in 4 years, which sounds like a long time, but for a game with as much detail as Cyberpunk 2077 promised, 4 years is not nearly enough. You would need to make a game with the level of detail that CP 2077 promised. You would legitimately need probably 8 to 10 years of active development. You know, if your workers are working normal hours, that is, and you're not sleeping under your desk. 70-hour work weeks isn't super common for some companies. Crunch time, yes. That's the thing. That's how they get you. Your work week will be exceptionally normal. Like, your general work schedule will be very normal and palatable. And then the crunch time comes, and it's the worst thing ever. But crunch time doesn't last forever, and that's how they get you. When they onboard you, you have a good time, and then crunch time comes, and it turns into a very bad time. But since you're already there, you can't really leave, can you? It's your job. Forget how long crunch time is on average. It depends on the game. It can be anywhere from 1 month to over a year. I think the worst case of crunch I've ever seen is reading about the development of Mass Effect Andromeda. That game's crunch period was 18 months. Can you imagine 18 months of working 50 plus hours a week? And the game still sucked when it came out, so I think that should tell you how, like, what crunch time does to people. Because the thing about crunch is that when someone is crunching, you get tired, you get burnt out. And when you're burnt out, the quality of your work decreases. So even though you are working for a longer period of time, your work is worse. And you're more likely to have to redo work that you already did because you messed up the first time because you were so tired. Trying to find a new company to work at? Yeah, a lot of people did. And that's probably part of why Mass Effect Andromeda came out as such a goddamn mess, because they were constantly shuffling workers who were leaving because the crunch time was just insufferable. Company that's good at managing that stuff. Good luck. That's why I'm going into localization. Because it's the people in the trenches that get it the worst. The frickin' programmers and like on the floor designers. Localization is a process that usually occurs towards the tail end of development, or even sometimes after the game is already finished. So I'm not worried that I will have to deal with, you know, back-breaking crunch on the regular. Okay, you had to have heard the GameCube loading something just then, right? Well, yeah, that's true. I mean, when you think about it, I'd say that 90% of bad games are not the fault of inept programmers or a lack of talent on the part of anybody, like in the trenches. It's poor management and a lack of time. That is what causes bad games to happen. Like, the example that I always use is Sonic 06. That game genuinely had a lot of promise. It had potential. There is good design on display in Sonic 06. But the game was utterly and completely ruined by Sega's awful management. I already had the super missile now, what am I doing? They split the team in half and then moved back the deadline so that the deadline was even tighter. Like, why would you do that? And then like, it's no wonder your game is crap, because you're not giving the people who make it enough to not make it crap. And yeah, I'm not one of those people who think Sonic 06 is a good game. I think it has good design, but it's utterly ruined by how technically inept it is. Just play the Project 06 remake, it's pretty good. Oh my god, this part of the game lags so much, I forgot about that. It's amazing that one person managed to make a version of Sonic 06 that is genuinely quite good. And I think that just goes to show, like, how much there is in Sonic 06 that could be good if it was given more time, but it wasn't, so it's not. So I want to do indie game stuff on the side. Yeah, I wanted to do that, and then I decided to be a moron and take 2 majors in college that have almost no overlap. So 99% of my time is spent doing classwork, so I have practically no time for personal projects. No one needs to work at a AAA game company. Legitimately, find it. It's the smaller companies that treat their employees better, genuinely. Oh, after college, okay. This boss fight is... I wouldn't even call this boss fight, it's like a mini encounter. Being when we're out in the world, that is just terrifying. That's roughly a year away from now, and that is just horrifying to me. That in roughly 1 year's time, I will... well, if my plan works, then at this time next year, I will be in Japan teaching English to middle schoolers to build up my Japanese English portfolio before I go into localization. 1.5. Oh yeah, you're taking an extra year because you... Did you switch tracks, or was there just problems with scheduling? Yes. I did lots of research because I'm obviously very passionate about this, and I found out that the JET program is the best way to get... It's the best thing to put on a resume for localization. our major is so packed. It is. It's also horribly, horribly managed. Like, I'm not kidding when there are, because I'm in the game studies pipeline, there are classes in the game studies pipeline that are legitimately given once every 4 years. Like, you just have to take it at that time, or you have to take an extra semester. Message you at DGen hours on Discord. Well, I mean, I would probably be working during your DGen hours, because that would be the middle of the day for me in Japan. I hope I get assigned somewhere cool if I even get into JT to begin with, because it's pretty competitive. Like, I wanna be somewhere really rural where they don't see Americans all that often. I want to be a celebrity. Or, I mean, I guess as much as a celebrity as you can be in a rural Japanese town. Okay, yeah, if it was 5 a.m. then I would be off. That's real DGen hours. If you're up all the way until 5 a.m. the next day, that is real DGen hours. You're not kidding when you say DGen hours. I was thinking like 1 a.m. I can talk about my weird students. I don't know, I feel like... I don't know, maybe. I feel like Japanese culture just doesn't foster weird students, really. You know? Like, not in the same way that America does. You know, I'm not trying to say that Japan is perfect and has no problem students whatsoever, but the kind of individual culture, I guess, that is really promoted in America isn't really... The culture of... It's hard to put into words what I'm trying to say, but the culture of schools is very different. Mention my favorite JRPGs to my students. I would. And that would either make me very cool or very uncool to them. There is no in between. Much better than the US. Yes. Because teachers are treated like shit in the United States. Japanese education system is considered one of the best in the world, so I would be glad to be a part of it if I had to be. I can't believe Shinzo Abe got murdered. It is so, like, that kind of thing happens so infrequently in Japan, and the way that it happened is even weirder. I would be happy if a middle schooler knew anything about my interests. I mean, obviously JRPGs are more popular in their home country, but still, I feel like the kind of stuff that I enjoy is kind of dated, you know? He was killed with a frickin' homemade TF2 scout gun by some psycho who was like... It wasn't even someone on like the opposite political side. It was someone on the same political side who thought that he like wasn't conservative enough, which is just nutty. The KyoAni arson. God, that is so sad. I still get sad when I think about that. of all the studios, it had to be like one of the best animation studios in the world. Yes, we all hate politics, but it's a part of life and we just have to accept it. Do you know why studios like KyoAni and Ufotable produce such great anime? It's because they treat their workers like human beings and not pack animals. Why them? It was like a random attack, wasn't it? There wasn't really much reason behind it too, right? Oh my god, these things do so much damage! I never really ended up reading too much about why the KyoAni arsonist did it. Like, was there ever a concrete motive established, or was he just like a psycho who just took it out on some random building? Yes, treating your human beings like humans instead of pack animals makes them produce higher quality work. There are many companies out there who could stand to learn that fact. Thought they had wronged him or something. Okay, so a psycho. I mean, if you're gonna attack an animation studio, why not... You know what, I'm not even gonna finish that sentence. I was going to make a poor taste jab at A1 Pictures, but, you know, maybe it would be best to not do that. Remember Sword Art Online? A1 Pictures has made some good shows. I was going to make a bad joke about them though. Yeah, I'm dying. This is probably my least favorite part of this game. You know, there's probably much worse animation studios in Japan than A1 Pictures, but it's funny to shit on them because they made Sword Art Online and the Asterisk War. You remember SAO because of Abridged. You, my friend, are based. Like, it bugs me when people say that Dragon Ball Z Abridged is better than the original, because that's very subjective. They aim for very different things, but SAO Abridged is legitimately better than the regular SAO. I mean, I'm pretty sure a trip to the frickin' dentist is better than regular SAO, so... It's not the worst isekai anime, but it is the worst, like, really popular isekai anime. Remember when isekai was used more for horror than for, like, power fantasy? That was the thing in like, the late 90s, early 2000s, where isekai was usually used as a vehicle for horror more than it was for like, power fantasy, MMO, RPG hijinks. Ripping off or plagiarizing his novels. Okay, so yeah, definitely Psycho. It's like, this is gonna sound insane, but you're gonna have to believe me when I say it. The Silent Hill 4 circumcision guy. If you've never heard that story, I don't blame you, but the Silent Hill 4 circumcision meltdown is one of the greatest sagas of internet drama to have ever happened. Dude was 41. He was probably working a shitty job at like a Japanese company that treats people like pack mules, and probably had untreated mental illness. Most people who do stuff like that have like depressing lives and untreated mental illness, so. Just like the Silent Hill 4 circumcision guy, who I will mention one more time to get it into your brain, because it is still one of the greatest internet drama sagas to have ever happened. Early Digimon was like that. It was. There's a really great anime called Now and Then, Here and There that is a very, very, very sad early isekai anime. Inuyasha is an isekai, that counts, and it's pretty good. So that was when standards were higher. That was back when isekai plus boobs did not equal billions of yen in revenue. Let me through the door! Oh my god! Oh my god, what is happening? Because nothing is... I agree with that last point. Nothing is fully original, it is true. Every idea you've ever thought of has already been thought of and written 100 times. Yes. Tropes are not bad, tropes are tools. That's the thing, I don't care if something isn't strictly original, as long as it's not like a complete bold-faced ripoff. Because tropes are tools, and tools are meant to be used. I need missiles for this boss fight. I think I'm gonna call it here. I'm getting kind of tired. Maybe I'll do this next boss fight. I don't know, though. Yeah, I'm gonna call it here, actually. I'm a little too tired to fight this boss, so... I will see y'all on the next stream, because this is a good place to stop. I'm about a third of the way through the game, so I think this should only take 2 or 3 more streams to beat. So, bye, I guess. Mwah.